So we're here to solve this TomTom by Bryce Herdt called Lost Meme. It has a somewhat abstract visual theme, and you can go down an internet rabbit hole to figure out exactly what that is if you're not familiar with it. We're going to start with the fourth part of the Lost Meme with this 50 cage, and in doing that, we're going to see 50 as a forced product. It's 2 times 5 times 5, and those 5s are going to have to be in separate positions that dodge the same rows and columns, so they're going to go in the corners of the L triomino, and the 2 will go in the center. That leaves in this fourth column just 1, 3, and 4 to place. The 4 can't go into this 2 cage because its normal partner of 2 is missing. So 1 and 3 go in here, and 4 comes down here. That now sets up the first key area to really think through in the puzzle, which is this 12 in a plus shape. And at the start of the grid, you might have thought it was a product. At least it had a product option. 1, 2, and 3 could go in one space with 1, 2 left over, and that would be a valid product. Once a force in the grid, that's not really going to work. You could get these cells to multiply to 12, but you then have to put a 1 both above and below to keep the total value to 12. So instead, this is a forced sum at this stage of the grid. And in thinking through this forced sum, we're going to take the minimum value of these cells in red to get a maximum value for the cell on the left side. And I'll just start by typing in kind of the way the minimum value is going to go. It would be a sum of 6 in the center plus 4 more gives us 10. Leaves behind 2 as the option here. With 2 as the maximum value for the cell, there's also a value of 1 that's possible for that cell, and that gives us 1 more degree of freedom in the center column to put potentially a 4. Overall, a set of 1, 2, and 4 in the space, so 4 and 1 would work. Marking all these in is mainly meant to show us, though, that there's a key constraint on the digit 5. The 5 is nowhere near this 12 plus cage, and that means the 5 has to be at the top of the center column, it's at the far left of the center row, and the last 5 in the grid is in this cell. This first column now looks pretty constrained. At least we now have filled in the last open digits, so we now have to at least make pairs of digits that are going to make 1 and 2 work together. One of the things to do in doing that is just to mentally think about what happens if a given digit's in a space. For instance, I could think about a 3 down here in the cage with a 2. A 3 used to be able to pair with 5, but that's gone, so this would now have to pair with a 1, and that leaves behind 2 and 4, and 2, 4 is not a set that works for a 1. So 3 doesn't look like it works down below, so we can put it up top. 3 in a 1 cage could allow a 2 or 4 up there, but the 1 can't go in that cage up top, so 1 comes down below. 1 works with 2 of the remaining digits, but 1 does not work with 4 in that cage value. So we get 3, 4 as a subtraction, and 1, 2 as a product or division as to the only valid way to split out this column into remaining pairs of values. The 2 that's already in the grid forces the 2 up top and the 1 down below, which leaves us a 3, 4 in the space, and we now focus on this 2 cage. A 3 in this cage would take a 1 up top or a 5 already given. That looks okay, 3 with 1. The 4, though, will always have to come with a 2, and the 2 is already in the cell, so we couldn't put a 4 down here. So putting in the 3 with the forced 1 gives us this whole column. It now tells us for sure that the middle column is a summing to 6 with 3, 1, and 2, completing that space. The 4 is going to work with our notes, and now just through Latin square constraints give us the remaining digits in each of those rows to finish out the puzzle. So I hope you got something from this video. It's a pretty fun, if easy, TomTom puzzle. It really focused on thinking through this middle 12, seeing the consequences that put the 5s all around it, and then breaking out the 1 column that had pairs of cells, but every other digit specified. Anytime you have a row or column like this one, where we're just trying to pair the remaining things into the cages, that's a great step to try. You're sometimes limited to just one option, and that will get you through to the solution. So hope you learned something through this video, and we'll see you again soon.